Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
What happens when cannabis advocacy finds its way into a romance novel? And can fiction actually help change the way we see women who openly consume cannabis? Hi, everyone, and welcome back to The Holistic Alternative. I'm Julie Ann Mejia, CEO and founder of Holistic Hemp Solutions, where education and science help drive meaningful conversations. Today's guest is an attorney, creator, cannabis advocate, and former host and executive producer of the award-winning podcast, The CANNA MOM SHOw. Now she's taken that advocacy in an entirely new direction. With her first novel, She's Taking a Break, in a genre she calls cannabis-friendly fiction. Please join me in welcoming Joyce Gerber to the show. Joyce, it's wonderful to have you.
Oh, I'm so happy to be with you. We planned this so long ago. It's great to be here.
It's truly come full circle. You know, my first shows was on your show, so it's it's wild.
We were just talking about how we first saw each other many years ago in the Massachusetts cannabis industry.
It's wild. So
like dog years, Julie, like dog years.
I feel like I blank, and I've been in the industry 10 years now, so I'm like, it's crazy. So,
Yeah.
but people that don't know you and are watching today, can you share a little bit about your background, how you got into supporting the cannabis industry from being a lawyer?
I know it's not my natural habitat. I often say that. So yeah, I got into cannabis. So I am now a cannabis author. I've written the first cannabis romance. I started in cannabis. I was looking for a job, really. It's sort of a long story, but basically in 2016, I had a cannabis awakening. I went out to Colorado and went on a private tour and figured out everything I knew about cannabis was wrong. 2016 also happened to be the same year that Massachusetts, where I live, I'm from the great state of Massachusetts, we voted to approve adult use cannabis. And in 2016, I also lost a contract position I was working on. And in 2017, I was trying to get a job. So that's how I started in cannabis. And I thought I would go into cannabis law. I could see it was new law. You never get to be part of something new. I was kind of following the regs, seeing what was going on. And it took me about a year, and I ended up meeting someone who wanted to start a cannabis podcast company. I didn't really know anything about podcasting. I really didn't know that about cannabis. And he hired me to be his executive producer. So that's how I got here.
Amazing. Your show was always like phenomenal. I really enjoyed listening to it and being a part of it. So you always did a phenomenal job. And let's talk a little further, right? It's hard. It's hard being in a male-dominated industry. It's not an easy task at all. I've dealt with my hardships. I know you have too. Let's talk a little bit about being a woman early on in the cannabis industry.
So I only talk to women on the show. That's always been my MO. So when I go to events, the joke is, oh my God, there are men here too. I mean, I'm a woman of a certain age. I am a lawyer, a mom. I have 2 kids. And Sheryl Sandberg told us to lean in. It was stupid. It was the stupidest advice. And, you know, the world literally is not built for caregivers. So that's sort of what I figured out through my long history of coming in and out of the monetized workplace. And coming to cannabis, I didn't think of it as a male-dominated space. And I don't know, I think at some point along the way, I'm like, I got to find my niche. So I can tell you about the origin of how the CANNA MOM SHOw came about, how I started focusing on what I did focus on.
I would love to hear about that. I'm sure all the guests would as well.
So I came in. I worked with all men. It was a men. It was a. I when I say I left, I always say I was just done working with white men. That's my kind of tagline, because I did take the show on my own. So I started at the podcast studio in 2018. So 2018, I'm literally in the studio with a friend of mine, and her kids were a little bit younger. My kids were teenagers at the time, and uh, we're just talking about how you talk to your kids about pot in this new era. So the guys in the studio were like, "Oh, that's a great idea. That would be a great podcast." But people were still weird about being connected to cannabis, right?
Right.
So they wanted to call. So my friend who I was talking with was like, "I don't want to do this. That's ridiculous." And I'm like, "I'll do it." And I really wasn't a canna mom. Like I was a late adapter. I'm a canna mom now. I think if I had been smoking pot when my kids were little, I probably would have liked them better because it was so exhausting. Whatever. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, so we're in the studio. We're talking about how you talk to kids, and they wanted to call me the canna mom, which I'm not the canna mom. So I wanted to call it the Canna Mom Show. And that's really how it started. And it started really talking to women who were consuming cannabis and were also happen to be mothers. And then it kind of progressed into women in the industry. But I always wanted to kind of keep focused on the caregiving part, because I think that's really what's interesting about the plant. She's a caregiving plant. We are the caregivers. This industry should be built in her image. So that's my little mission.
That's incredible. And it's an important mission because, again, there's a lot of discrimination, especially for women. There's a lot of extra pressure being parents. From talking to parents that consume cannabis, they have said, hey, it really does make me more patient. It balances me. I can be a better parent
When you
consuming.
can be in the moment, like I could literally walk around. Like I'm 61, so I could walk around with I'm a wine mom shirt, and people would be proud of me. And I practice family law, so I would use cannabis against a parent. I thought it was dangerous, so it's been a big shift in my head. But what cannabis does for me, and I know what would have helped me when the kids were little, I could have just been more present. I mean, I was in law school and pregnant. I'm a very type A. I do a lot of stuff intense, and I'm very intense. So if I had the ability to sort of like kind of bring it all down, ratchet it down, and focus on one thing in front of me, if I knew that was an option, because I didn't really want to take pharmaceuticals. Nobody really wants their mom to drink much, or you just, a lot of us just suffered through it. And it just felt like it was our fault that we couldn't do everything all at the same time. Like there's obviously something wrong with us, which
Yeah.
kind of comes back to cannabis, because I keep thinking about this industry. My joke is I want to build a world where exceptional women can achieve like mediocre men, because that was sort of the world I lived in for a really long time. And cannabis should be something new. It's a new industry. I kept thinking, we talk about this a lot, how it would be a new industry, but it's still all about money. But I kept feeling that if I could elevate these stories of women who maybe don't look like the culture, we talk a lot about culture. The culture looked like the way it did because it was underground. It was like underground, so you created a culture. But women like me, I wear pearls. I play tennis. Like I'm on my board at my temple, and there are lots of women like me who use cannabis. So just this idea that we can talk about us in a way that's not just about how the men culture looks, and we could create something different. That was kind of the dream. And there are so many women across the country are doing so many amazing things. You know that.
No, absolutely. And to your point, it's concerning from a societal norm perspective, right? That hey, being the wino benzo mom is okay, that's acceptable, but doing something natural that is non-harmful, non-addictive, that's taboo, and that's not something we talk about.
And,
So
it, and it's also this idea that we've tried to criminalize this plant for so long, and no one even knows why there's shame. I mean, there's so many layers to this for moms and caregivers. So it's a big industry. It's like everything else in the world. It's just a little upside down. Anyone who wants to join us should join us. We need everybody. But my niche is really talking about crushing that stigma around cannabis and caregivers, because it's something that's it's so doable. Like even on the other side, like my mother was dying. We talked, sitting with my mother was really hard when she had dementia. It was like not being nice to me, but I could get a little high before I went into a nursing home, and I was totally fine sitting with her. And it was.
right. Yeah, no, and to your point, I don't understand. I think society is backwards from that conception because it's natural. I don't get it. I don't get it. But
Whatever. There's a
I'm
lot of
changing
stigma.
minds.
There's a lot of things that are against it. Like, and even moms and caregivers are like, pregnant. And when you're pregnant, and if they find out you're a medical patient, there's always issues with moms who are trying to get off other medications but are using cannabis. And a lot of moms are using this for nausea. But because our medical system still believes that it's, harmful and they're mandatory reporters, these women can get into a lot of legal trouble. And not even legal trouble, they get children's services involved. So I don't know, those are the kind of things I feel like I could kind of help talk about so people think about this in a way differently. That's really what I hope to do in the industry.
And you're doing it. Your book
Mhm.
is, you know, it's first. It's. I don't know. Can't even describe it. It's like it's amazing that you have figured out a way to put all those pieces into your novel. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you were able to do that and essentially bring
Yes,
some of these issues to light for people in your reading?
absolutely. So I did this podcast, the CANNA MOM Show. I did it for 5 years, 5 seasons, 6 years, something like that. I stopped doing it in 2024, something like 25, something like that. Anyways, during that time, I always had this idea of how we change culture. Culture's around us. You don't even know it. It's just there. And a lot of it is just stories, storytelling, podcasting, all of this is storytelling. Like movies made us believe that smoking and drinking was cool. Like, so I knew that as a fact. And somehow we'd come to believe that cannabis is just a bunch of high school dudes getting stoned and doing stupid stuff. That's the story we've been told. Anyways, I knew there were women who were like me, who would like to see themselves in a story, a romance, or I was calling it cannabis chick lit for a while.
That's
But,
great.
they were always allowed to drink. Women always drink in these books and act stupid and do things, but they never show cannabis unless it's some sort of negative issue that you have to be concerned about. So the
Right.
idea was just a character and integrate it into the story. So I wrote She's Taking a Break. It's a contemporary romance, but for cannabis lovers. It's a
Okay.
cannabis romance.
All right.
And, our heroine is a cannabis user. And I integrate it into the story in different ways. Like there's a father who's sick, so I put it into his brownies. But it's just part of the story, and I've dedicated the story to all my sophisticated stoners who want to see themselves represented. You know,
No, I totally get that. I mean, we're looked at as demonized as the unsuccessful members of society. I'm a functioning stoner as well. I use it every day for my chronic pain disorder. It helps keep me going. For
yeah.
me, it's my medicine.
But it's that idea. It's like stories control everything. The reason we think it's so dangerous is because of a stupid story. Whatever. I don't know how you change the world. I'm just doing my little thing in my daughter's bedroom. My podcast, talking to women. I might talk to hundreds of women across the country, and all of us are doing our bit, trying to change the story. Like each time we tell someone, or each time we open, and every time people see us, we're changing that narrative. It's slow, but it's happening. You can see it. I was talking about how it was normalized at my party. My husband had a 65th birthday party on Saturday, and I have a cannabis bar, so it was my alcohol and my little joints were out there.
That's
And
awesome.
although when my sister smelled it, she's older than me. She's like, every time I smell it, I still think, well, the parents, where are the adults? Are the adults going to see? you know?
I know. I mean, that's how we were all programmed. I mean, it was illegal for so long. So, I mean, so much propaganda surrounding the industry and how it became illegal. It's concerning from a number of facets. And, yes, we've, come a long way. We're rescheduling right from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. However, we're setting it up for big pharmaceutical companies and
And we're
kind of
also
making it
and,
harder.
and we're also taking a big step backwards here in Massachusetts, where 2016 the people voted. We voted. We wanted to have adult use, and we've had it, and it's a business. It's a nice business that's giving lots and lots of resources across the Commonwealth to all sorts of people,
Yeah,
and nothing really bad has happened.
I know. I mean, if
And
anything,
now, there's someone from alcohol, or who knows who they're from, who's out here who's got a ballot initiative to repeal all of it.
it's terrible. It's horrific. First of all, they didn't collect the signatures correctly. There's been so many issues with that campaign, and it's out of state. There's nobody tied to Massachusetts. And if you look at the data doesn't lie. Opiate deaths have gone down significantly in Massachusetts. Alcohol deaths have gone down significantly in Massachusetts. So it's concerning from a number of facets that they're claiming we're trying to protect the children. Well, kids, by making it legal again, it's going to drive black market consumerism again.
Whatever.
It's
It's a stupid argument. They're always trying to protect the children. I was a family law attorney. No one ever protects the children. No one ever does anything. It's always about money.
it is.
So
It,
it's frustrating that we're back here. I will say for Massachusetts, it feels like it's kind of bonded us together. We weren't always on the same page. So, we have dispensaries across the state now. All of us are sort of in on the no on 8. Anyone
right.
listening? No on 8.
Yep.
Just say no. Maybe it'll make us a better industry. I don't know. Maybe at the end of this, we'll have found something that we have in common. I mean, we have so much reform to do. But it exists here. It's slowly existing across the country. There's a recognition that it really doesn't kill people, that no one jumps out windows, that it's actually, I'm actually starting to go into senior centers. That's the other thing I'm doing with the book, trying to go into senior centers to talk about my book and to talk about, how seniors are using it. There's a Dr. Grinspoon. Dr. Grinspoon's on a book tour now with his book for seniors in cannabis and, and kind of tying it back to the no on 8 because you want your grandma and grandpa getting their pot on the corner? No, you want them going to a dispensary where it's tested.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean, again, taxation has been exuberant in Massachusetts and the Commonwealth. They've been able to do a lot with the taxation money that we've brought into the industry there. So again, I don't know how this got pushed through. It was illegal to begin with from the collection sites and everything like that. So, I'm hopeful that this really sets precedent for everyone else, that we send a clear message
Oh,
in
absolutely.
Massachusetts to everywhere else, like, hey, this is not tolerable.
Yeah, this if this passes in some weird way, if this is going national across the country, and the idea that, I don't know, this is the thing about America. Choice, remember choice? We like to choose it. We like to be able to choose our politicians. We like to choose our
Yep.
religion. We like to choose whether or not we use drugs. If we use alcohol or tobacco or cannabis, we should be allowed to choose. And the idea that they're trying to take this away from us after the people voted it in,
Right.
it seems
Yeah.
very off. So whatever. I don't think it'll pass. I think I wish we didn't have to have this fight, but we're doing it. So here we are.
Here we are. Here we are back again at the beginning, right? So yeah, I'm hopeful that nothing.
Literally full circle.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe we're still having the discussion about it. It should have been, made legal years ago, or not ever made illegal to begin with. But
that's a whole nother story. Yeah, it shouldn't be illegal to begin with. People don't know exactly how cannabis could work in their lives. I mean, I talk even more about like hemp. We talk, hemp. What hemp could do for our country. We have solutions right here. We don't have to go to AI. We don't have to go into space. We could start growing hemp and we could start remediating the earth. We could have an alternative. Like when people push back on me on the hemp thing, saying we got rid of hemp because we found a better alternative, I'm like, no, you found oil. You found oil. That's what you found.
You found the Rockefeller administration where they made everything illegal because it, threatened all these other industries.
Yeah.
I mean, Henry Ford, when he built his car made of hemp, fueled with hemp seed oil, I mean, he just really rattled everybody. And we'd be living in hempcrete homes, driving hemp fueled cars. We'd be living in an entirely different world if, prohibition didn't happen. So.
But here we are. So we're back with my cannabis romance. That's how I'm helping to solve the problem.
Exactly. So let's talk about some of your other work that you're doing as well with the book. Okay. I know you've been working with Abby and Kristen, correct? Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So I'm working with my friend Abby Weintraub and Kristen Rogers to do some outreach to seniors. That's really what I was talking about. So I'm kind of using the book as a hook. I've been doing some book signings, so I'm going to bring the book along, do some book signings. Our first one is actually this week. We're going into a senior center, and we're going to have a panel, and we're not quite sure, where people are. We're so deep in this, and between the three of us, we can probably talk about all 5,000 years of history plus what's going on in Massachusetts. So we have a vast knowledge base there.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be asking, maybe they'll be asking about the hemp products that may be banned because of, the federal issues. Maybe people are just going to asking us about products. Maybe there's a really basic, what is cannabis? I'm not really sure what the range of questions will be, but we'll do a little introduction and talk to them. I'm going to bring a lot of props. I'm going to bring a stash box so they can see what's inside a stash box. And I'm going to bring all of my books that I have. I have a range of books, for kids. Often we talk about how you talk to your kids about this plant. There are children's books out there that talk about her as a plant. I think that's the easiest way to introduce it to anybody. So when you're talking, they always talk, if you want to talk about cannabis as a drug, you got to step it back. She's a plant. She's a plant, and this is what she looks like. This is how you grow her. This is, these are the buds. All of that. I have those books, and then I have Dr. Grinspoon's book and Dr. Kaplan's books about medical use. So I don't know. I figured we can have some nice props there, and people can ask us questions, and then we can also talk about delivery, which is what Rolling Relief is the company that Abby works for now, and how you could actually do this as, if we're talking about products and they're interested, they could order it and have it delivered. It's like a
Right.
Tupperware party. So
Hey, that's perfect because you're bringing safe access and education directly to them. A
yeah,
lot of these,
and it takes away that friction. People don't like to go to dispensaries. People are afraid to go to dispensaries.
yeah, it's crazy. There's still a lot of stigma out there. There's still a lot of, propaganda that's been put out about the industry, about the plant and how do we address that? How do we break that down for the elderly community that grew up with it?
I mean, I think it's hard for my generation. I'm a Gen Xer. I believed all that stuff. And when I told my kids everything I knew about pot was wrong, they were like, yes. But what actually changed, and I think this is what happens everywhere, that changes hearts and minds are personal stories. These stories that I shared on the podcast for 5 years were honestly mostly about healing and about women mostly, or their children, who were at their wits' end. Didn't know what else to do. They were desperate. They were literally desperate. And they would find this plant and they would find some sort of relief from whatever issue they were having. And that would open up something in their headspace that maybe what they knew about cannabis was wrong. They were evangelized, and now they're going out to teach this to other people. I mean, I kind of see it over and over and over again. And if you see somebody change in a way that's really positive because they smoked a little bit or took a tincture or, ate a gummy, if you could literally see that in a person, it's like it changes your heart. It just opens up your heart and changes your heart and mind about what this plant is. I mean, there's a woman who has endometriosis, Queenie, that's her name. And she talks about how much pain she is. And you can see the pain on her face. You can literally see it. And she did this demonstration of smoking. She did a dab. And I was always afraid of dabs. I think they seem all scary, whatever. She did her dab. And then she was actually describing, like on the Zoom call, about how it felt and where she was going and how it actually took the pain away. You could actually see it on her face.
No, I agree with that. And as someone that worked in the traditional model, I was told in college that it was a gateway drug. It had no medical benefits whatsoever. And then guess what? I got injured working in traditional medicine and I was put on all the opiates. I had no quality of life. I couldn't process them. And, you know, I was looking for any type of relief, and nothing touched my pain like cannabis did.
So it feels miraculous because it's a tool that's been taken away from us for 100 years.
Yes.
We live in the anomaly of history. This plant medicine may not work for everyone. This may not be the thing that works with your system, but we have an endocannabinoid system. We have receptors in our body that are built to take in the molecules of this plant. And that's the sort of pharmaceutical model that we're talking about. But the idea that and I don't love the THC stuff. I don't like the concentrates. I really am like full plant. So there's something about the plant that does something for our body with the terps and the combination. I'm like worried about these high THC products. They may actually be damaging us in a way. That actually worries me. But regardless, she's a plant and she works with our body in a way that it really it balances us. It's just a thing. It's science. It's not magic. This is not like voodoo. This isn't like someone comes in with sage and like rubs it over you. Like this is a molecule that is working with your body. I can't explain how aspirin works, but I believe in it.
Well, and to your point, right? For thousands of years, our ancestors have applied it, ate it, smoked it. For us to even develop a system that processes it, we don't have, an opioid processing system, but we do have an endocannabinoid functioning that works in conjunction with our immune system to process hemp and cannabis. And there's terpenes and other, compositions out there, and it's really a synergistic effect. And I support that concept of full spectrum approach, right? Because literally you're leaving everything as nature intended it to be consumed.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how anything else. I literally have no idea how the human body works. I'm a lawyer, But I have been talking about this for so long with so many people, and this idea that we have a system, a molecular system that works, and these scientists are out there who are finally starting to be able to do studies. And, a lot of this, again, coming back to moms and caregivers, women are getting in trouble for being tested, and, they find it in their systems. And the truth is, if we could just follow these children, if you're going to test them on, if you're going to test women anyways, follow the kids, because we're not going to do studies on pregnant women, but there are women, they're using cannabis. Follow the kids for 5 or 10 years. See what happens with them. You could do this. It's a very possible study.
I'm
I
going to
mean,
send you a study. I'm going to
yeah,
send you one out of Jamaica. They followed kids for 20 years with women that smoked cannabis during pregnancy. And guess what? The data was significantly amazing, with high functioning kids, higher IQs, better socialism. Like the data was just so incredible.
yeah. Anyways, we could do this. We could do that here too. And I've talked to enough cancer doctors or who are working with cancer patients who will say they can tell who's using cannabis because they look better.
Right.
So whatever it is, the stigma is just like, it's very slow and changing, but it's like, it's the healing. It's like once you see someone who's healed or you're healed yourself, you believe.
I agree with that. And you know what? You're putting those concepts into the book. And I know we got off on a
Oh,
tangent
sorry.
talking. No, I love it. This is an open, organic conversation. Nothing scripted here. We're just going with it. But in regards to some of the functions that you included in the novel, so you talked about putting some cannabis in a sick person's brownies. Let's talk about some other ways you incorporated, the healing properties of it into the story.
So I've had a bunch, I've had a lot of different readers, had some editors, and not everyone is a cannabis in my cannabis world. So, you can see in the story sort of like how she gets better. I mean, whatever. Cannabis is cannabis, and some people are just stoners. Some people like to smoke. Some it's like cigarettes. So the story starts with her smoking, and she's kind of a mess because it's a romance. So you have to go from one end to the other. And you can kind of, my first editor or my first reader who read it wasn't a cannabis user, but she said she could see how she got better from the beginning to the end, and you can see how her cannabis use changes a little bit. So just the excessive use of smoking, but then I talk about cooking with it because they want to create a bakery that actually offers cannabis infused foods to people. They talk a lot about I don't know. It's just part of the lifestyle. It's not like you oftentimes there'd be like they're bad or there's something wrong with them, or it's just something that it's part of who she is. And
Awesome.
I actually incorporated into there's a wedding scene at the end. No, scene, whatever. There's a wedding scene at the end, and I incorporated it into the wedding scene as well. But
That's awesome.
just the way it's just part of their life. Yeah, that's my cover. So isn't that funny? So when I was putting it on Amazon, the book,
Yep.
there's a lot of categories, but there's no cannabis romance category. But at some point, it was started trending in medical romance, which I think is funny. And all the books are like people in medical, like doctors and nurses and stuff, and then mine.
That's funny. That's great. No, hey, we
Hmm.
have to start somewhere and we have to create sometimes a pathway that doesn't exist yet. So congrats on doing that. That's
Yeah.
really exciting.
And I just think, I
Um,
don't know, I have another right, I just keep it going, like cannabis friendly fiction is what I call it. And you can see it happening a little bit in movies now and TV. There are more cannabis scenes, but it still makes it seem a little woo woo. It's, you know, I don't know. We have way to go, you know.
well, there's a lot of women, especially that use cannabis products during menopause or for sex, right, and
Oh, yeah.
intimacy. And I think that needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, I mean, it's the full range, whatever. The hormones, the cannabinoid system. I'm sure it is all interconnected.
Everything.
Dr. Stacy Gruber out here at McLean's Hospital, I think she's doing some more work with women in menopause and trying to get again, there aren't many people doing this because I think for medical professionals, it's an issue for really studying it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stigma still in the medical community. There's, unless they're studying it, which they're not, because
Yeah.
guess what? There's still only a few medical programs that teach about the endocannabinoid system, which is I think totally insane to me. Like I can't wrap my head around that,
But
how they
but
would not
I
keep
just feel
that.
like it's out there in the ethers now. Like everyone's
Yeah,
talking about it. It's not a made up word. So I'm sure the medical students who are going into medical school know what they've heard the word. They must have heard the word. They know what it is. It can't be something brand new. And it just wasn't something we ever talked about growing up. It wasn't something I even knew existed. Well, it wasn't even discovered until the '60s. So, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Raphael Mechoulam, discovered a lot and different things about THC and the molecules, but to have the medical system so far behind, I feel like it's pulling teeth to introduce anything new from a natural perspective. They're fine with new pharmaceuticals, but anything that's naturalized, I feel like it's pulling teeth.
but I don't, cannabis just seems so omnipresent. Like she does everything. She's everywhere. That the idea that America was able to sort of criminalize her
Yeah.
internationally, I find that story kind of fascinating. But doctors are in a couple of doctors here in Massachusetts who talk about it a lot. When I first got into the industry, I was very nervous about it. I didn't really know how it worked. I talked to my own doctor, who you're never quite sure how they're going to respond, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And he was
Yeah.
all like chill. He was like, Joyce, that's fine. It just kind of takes away all the stuff that's bothering you around here, and you can focus in. And I'm like, all right,
All
you
right,
think
so
it's okay?
I was gonna say he probably smokes, and that's the other thing that nobody talks about. Like there's so many people from all races, ages, just walks of life. Everybody consumes, and a lot of people do it because of the behind scenes because of the stigma. They don't know how they're going to be perceived.
Well, exactly. Well, even like going to weddings. This is like my other thing. So I went to this beautiful wedding in Pennsylvania in April, and I'm all dressed up. I got my high heels, my hair's done. I've got makeup and jewelry. Everyone's drinking. I have to sneak out into the parking lot, past the guy in the smoking lounge area,
Yep.
who's smoking a cigarette, go hide out behind my car, have my little one hitter.
Yep. No, it shouldn't be like that. It should be accepted more, and we should be able to consume wherever we need to,
So,
just like alcohol and just like cigarettes and tobacco. I think,
so it's the smoke. I think the smoke is what kills. That's actually even back to Massachusetts. I think that's one of the things they're using against us. They're like, oh, you can smell it. It's everywhere. Can't you just smell it everywhere? And I'm like, why do you hate the smell so much? What is it? There's so many more disgusting smells. I live in the city. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of other disgusting smells. Like this, like especially in New York City. Wouldn't you rather smell cannabis than like
the
I don't know
garbage that they
any?
pile up. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But it
So
still offends people that like crack their brains over when they smell it.
it's concerning from a number of facets. But again, I think it's all educational based. A lot of people have a misconception about it, and then they have an issue with it. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And then the only way they're going to change their hearts and minds is if someone they know and love, comes to them and they can
that they
see.
need.
Honestly, it gets kind of back to the healing. If they can see someone being healed, again, I hear the story over and over again. Like a military grandfather who was really anti-cannabis, and maybe the kid had seizure issues, the seizure in children. I don't know. There's a lot of issues with that, and the grandfather could see the seizures stopping for the child when they introduced the cannabis product. So you got to see someone you love healed.
I agree with that. A lot of people they use it as a last resort, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's too late once you
Yeah.
introduce it as a last resort. I wish the traditional system would introduce it first, and then if all else fails, then we go to a synthetic.
Or just I say it's a I talk about cannabis like it heals everything. I know it doesn't, but she should be part of a tool in the toolbox. She should not be what people go to out of desperation and as a last resort. It's just unnecessary. I mean, it's the little steps that you can change to make this. I mean, how they made her illegal to begin with were little steps backwards, and so we're doing the little steps forward.
Right.
And that guy who wants to grow hemp down in Arkansas kind of believes the same thing you do. Like she's a plant and you can grow her and she can be manufactured for a lot of different things. And she's American made. And we could have this an American made product. We could have industry in America that makes hemp products if we decided to share the space with oil. Oil,
Exactly.
just couldn't you be a little bit more generous with your space and give us a little space hemp? Give us
Exactly. We gotta plant it everywhere to clean up from all the spillage and all the contaminants that they put out into the universe. It's unfortunate.
yeah. So, cannabis and hemp. All right.
Any other thoughts that you'd love to share about your book to get people excited about it? And then we're going to talk about where we can pick it up because I'm looking forward to reading it.
I think she's, do I have her with me? Here.
It's behind you. Yeah, I see it.
So this one's bedazzled. I don't know. Can you see that? That she's bedazzled?
Love it.
My daughter bedazzled her for me. So she's taking a break. It's a contemporary romance, but for cannabis lovers, set here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It incorporates cannabis into a romance. I say it's what happens when a priest, two sisters, and a rock star smoke a joint.
Love it. I love it. That's great. And where can people buy your book? I know you have a website and it's on Amazon, correct?
Yeah, so it's all on Amazon. I have ebook and the paperback. I do not have an audiobook yet, but if you really want an audiobook, let me know because I've been thinking about it, but we'll see how it goes. She's not that long. It's a good beach read. Summer is almost, and I have friends who've been reading read my book on planes or trains and tag me. So if you're reading it, just tag me, let me know you're reading it. And I always love a good review. You give me some reviews on Amazon, that'll make me very, very happy.
Awesome. No, thank you, Joyce. I appreciate it. I hope you guys that are watching today will go out and check it out. And I'm excited to read it. And Joyce, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with me today. It's been so much fun. The 40 minutes has flown by.
I know. I haven't seen you in person in ages. I've been a little bit out of the cannabis world in Massachusetts. I really did step away. To write a book, you sit alone by yourself in a room and make up a story. So
well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in November for the Harvest Cup. If you're able to come, I'd love to see you.
I'll walk around my book, and getting out and seeing people. And then the marketing, I've been, and I will just say my book came out on 4/20.
Okay.
Everyone, so, there was a whole year of making sure it got out. A whole team of people helped me get it out there. And I'm still working on another one. So maybe next year we'll have another cannabis friendly fiction from Joyce Gerber.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you so much. And do you want to leave everyone watching with a final thought?
Final thought. Vote no.
Yes.
On question 8, if you live in Massachusetts, because we want to keep cannabis legal.
Thank you. Thank you, Joyce, for everything, for coming on. It's such a pleasure to have you. Thank you guys for tuning in to another exciting episode of The Holistic Alternative. Tune in again in a few weeks where we'll have some more beautiful conversations. Be kind to each other and have a beautiful rest of the day and week. Take care.
What happens when life tries to break you? When the pain is unimaginable, the losses are overwhelming, and every step forward feels impossible. There comes a moment, a choice. Will you surrender or will you rise? From breast cancer survivor to survivor of domestic abuse to inspiring thousands around the world, Verna Haywood shares a deeply personal journey of courage, healing, and transformation. This isn't just a story about surviving, it's about rediscovering your purpose, reclaiming your voice, and becoming stronger than the challenges you never asked for. Discover Unstoppable Resilience, Heal, Rise, and Reclaim Your Power by Verna Haywood. Continue the journey on the Unstoppable Life with Verna Haywood exclusively on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbick. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.